coming up on the Tall Mike Wine Podcast.
聞いてくれてありがとうございます。で、マイクさんとお友達に、感謝を込めてまた来ていただくといいです。ありがとうございます。
Whatever he said, believe it. Ask me if anything really cool happened when we first got here.
Mike, did anything really cool happen when we first got here?
I got to pet a horse. We're not so much at a winery as we are now on a farm. There are chickens and goats. There's a horse. There's some sheep. They even have a nice ass.
I believe it was a donkey.
Oh, okay. Is a donkey not an ass?
And now, the Tall Mike Wine Podcast.
And just like that, the banjos are playing, which can tell you only one thing, that your host, Tall Mike Wine, is back on the road for another wine country adventure. I'm Mike Stone, your host. This is the Tall Mike Wine Podcast, and occasionally I take the microphone out of the studio and onto the road to give you a little slice of life. And today's slice of life is not too far from where I live. In fact, I'm on the road. It's morning, and I'm on the highway that leads from where I live, Marin County, California, to Sonoma. This is Highway 37. I've just crossed over the county line. So now I'm in Sonoma County. I'm basically taking the route that I take to work every day at Nicholson Ranch. In fact, I will pass Nicholson Ranch after I pick up my passengers and head over into the other valley to the east. The very famous valley. You may have heard of it. The Napa Valley. I was asked by some very good friends visiting town to take them out tasting. So instead of having the day off from the winery and spending it at home doing my laundry and hanging with the cat and the dogs, I am headed out to the Napa Valley. We have 3 appointments made for tastings. I think I've talked my guests into not only riding along and tasting with me, but also co-hosting this episode of the podcast. They told me they wanted to, at least last night, over dinner at the Girl and the Fig in Sonoma. Of course, we were drinking wine, and people agree to things when they're drinking wine that maybe later they realize they maybe shouldn't have agreed to. We'll see what happens when I pick them up. I'm going to be picking them up in about 10 minutes. And then we will be heading over into the Napa side. 3 tasting appointments today. One at a place I've been multiple times. One a place I've never been. And one a place I've been, but I've never tasted the wine, at least formally, in a tasting setting. And you will hear at least one voice that you recognize if you've been following the podcast for a long time. One of my very earliest guests will be hosting us at the first winery when we get to it, and I'll be checking in from there. But first, we have to pick up our guests for the day. We'll check in with them momentarily. And now I have picked up my passengers, drove from the Sonoma side to the Napa side, drove north on Highway 29, the main road through the Napa Valley, and we're here at our first stop tasting wine. I am with my good friends, the Reeds from Seattle, Karin, who I've known for a long, long time, her husband Jeff, who I haven't known for quite as long, but still like just as much. And we're here at Silenus Winery in the Napa Valley. Now, the name Silenus Winery might be familiar to you because a guy named Hiro Sogi was a guest on one of the early episodes of the podcast, and he is here hosting us today. So we'll hope to get Hiro to talk to us. I'm going to get Karin and Jeff to talk to us right now. Karin, pick up the microphone.
Hey.
Good morning.
Hi, Mike.
Welcome to the podcast.
Thank you. This is a thrill.
We have all the equipment on the table here. It's a lot of cords, a lot of wires. But we also have wine glasses, and we've been tasting some delicious wines here at Silenus, where they not only pour their own wines, they also pour other wineries' wines. Why do they do that? Because Silenus is what's known as a custom crush facility. So they use part of their winery space. Basically, they rent it out to small producers to come and crush their grapes, make their wine. And then they also help those wineries sell their wine. So we have tasted wine from some super small producers, including a Sauvignon Blanc from a winery called Noria. 360 cases produced. That is very small production. It was delicious. Would you say it was refreshing, Karin?
Mike, I just lost the thread. What are you talking about?
She's not paying attention.
Oh, the Sauvignon Blanc. Yeah, super refreshing.
Okay, good.
And as soon as you said it tasted like peach, that is all I could taste.
I got to be careful with the suggestive descriptions.
Well, it's helpful because I don't know what I'm tasting or how to describe it. But yeah, you definitely planted that one.
It was a little peachy, a little bit of grapefruit, and then something I thought on the nose was almost kind of salty. Did you get that?
No. How about you, Jeff?
No salt, but lots of peach.
That's Mike's fault.
Well, I had that.
It also could be true.
All right, hand the mic to Jeff. Jeff Reed was one of the first recipients of the Tall Mike Wine Official Podcast coasters. When I rolled them out on the episode on which Hiro was my guest, I said, send me an email. I have these coasters. And the first email came from Jeff Reed.
I hurried directly to the laptop and said, Mike, do you have any of the podcast coasters left? And he said, yes, you're the first one to ask for them.
I still have a pretty good-sized stack. Don't forget, tallmikewine@gmail.com if you want your own coasters. Please send me an email. We just tasted a Cabernet Franc that so far is my favorite wine of the day. That's a Silenus Cabernet Franc 2019. What did you think of that, Jeff?
Definitely. Not that the other wines haven't been good. They all have been. This was definitely the best one so far, yes.
Okay, we're in agreement. Cool. We're going to continue tasting here at Silenus, and then we're going to move on down the road. I mean, maybe before we leave, we'll get a chance to chat with Hiro. We'll see what happens. We couldn't leave Silenus without at least getting a few words from Hiro Sogi, my guest on the very 5th episode of the podcast. That was over 2 years ago.
It was 2 years ago.
Do you still remember it fondly?
I do. I brought over Pinot Blanc and Grenache. I brought over Pinot Blanc and Grenache, I think.
I'll have to check the notes.
We had it
I
at
can't check the
Nicholson
notes right
Range.
now.
That was good.
They were both very tasty.
They were very nice.
It was a white and a red. I think.
It was wine and red. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So you've had 2 more birthdays since then.
Mm-hmm.
Are you feeling older?
I hope not.
Are you aging like fine wine?
I hope so. Slowly but
Talk to
surely.
me about the 2 cabs we just tasted.
2 cabs that we had is our Silenus 2020 Cabernet Sauvignon and our 19 Estate Reserve. So they are our 2 main Cabernet Sauvignons.
Now, Silenus does something a little bit interesting with the oak regimen. Most wineries, it's all French oak. And then there's a small amount of wineries that use some American oak. We had Hiro going around and around and around trying to explain the oak to us explain the oak regimen on the Reserve cab.
Reserve Cabernet is 80% new French oak with 10% new American oak, and the remaining is neutral, so 10% neutral. And
Is the neutral American or French? Or
I
both?
believe it's French. It could be both. I don't know that part.
It's all about the details, isn't it?
It really is.
They're both very delicious.
Although I guess if it's neutral, would it matter that much?
It wouldn't matter that much.
Right?
I don't think it would matter that much.
Yeah. But it's fun to know.
It's fun to know.
Yeah.
Right? Because we just geek out.
When we're
about that
nerdy,
kind of-
like what else are we got to
geek out
nitpick a little bit, right?
We geek out
That's
about
what
that
we like
stuff.
to do.
You're having a good spring?
Been a nice spring.
It's a beautiful
Sunny.
sunny day. The earlier part of the day was very cloudy and cool. It's not going to get that hot today, though. What's up with that?
I like this weather, so
Do you?
I'm fine with it.
Okay.
I want it to stay.
But the vines need more heat.
They do. Mhm.
But your vines are looking good.
They're not looking good. And
Silenus
it's
is right here on
slowly-
Highway 29, just south of the town of Yountville. I believe you guys are considered Oak Knoll.
We're technically Oak Knoll.
Okay.
Yeah, we're pretty close to that southern border of Yountville.
Okay.
Area.
If you're ever in wine country, you got to come visit Hiro at Silenus.
Matemasu. We'll be waiting. That was Japanese for we'll be waiting.
Oh, perfect. Give us a little more Japanese.
聞いてくれてありがとうございます。で、マイクさんと友達に、感謝を込めて、また来ていただくといいです。ありがとうございます。
Whatever he said, believe it. Thank you, Hiro.
Thank you.
We're somewhere a little different now. You can hear chickens clucking in the background. Oh, there's a good one. There's a good rooster right there. Karin, ask me if anything really cool happened when we first got here.
Mike, did anything really cool happen when we first got here?
I got to pet a horse.
You look pretty cool as you did it, too. I have a picture.
Hopefully it'll show up on Instagram if we get our ducks in a row.
There aren't any ducks.
Oh, there aren't any ducks
I think there are a lot of chickens.
Are they in a row?
No.
This is good. This is good banter. We're on our second winery stop of the day. Myself, Tall Mike Wine, and the Reeds, Karin and Jeff, in from Seattle. We're not so much at a winery as we are now on a farm. There are chickens and goats. There's a horse. There's some sheep. They even have a nice ass.
I believe it was a donkey.
Oh, okay. Is a donkey not an ass?
I don't know the etymology of the word, Mike.
All right. Consult your Bible.
Google that.
We're at Hoops Winery and Oasis. And the Oasis features a sanctuary for some animals. Some two-legged and four-legged furry friends. There's a horse and chickens. I'm sure you can hear them. And there's wine. And so far the wine is delicious. We tasted a Sauvignon Blanc, a Chardonnay, a Rosé. Right now I have a Syrah in my glass. It's quite tasty. What do you like so far?
I like all of them so far. Jeff doesn't want me to buy the rosé because we could get other rosés at home, but I think we might need one.
This is Hoops Rosé.
We can't get that at home.
I'm sure this is very small production. We'll have to ask Brian, our very, shall I say, chatty host, about the production here. He's got a lot to say, Brian. Brian from Hoops.
He's got 2 degrees of separation from Kamala Harris and a bunch of other really cool people.
Chef Thomas Keller, Bill Gates.
And the animals here at Oasis.
We'll put all this in the show notes, maybe. Is that a rooster? Nice. That might be the first rooster I've ever had on the podcast. We're going to try and get Brian to talk to us when he comes back. Stay tuned. Now we've gotten Brian from Hoops to stop walking around and running around. He's got a table, and he's a guy who's very active. Got a
Mike, thanks for having me here today.
He's got a
no,
lot.
You came to see me.
He's got a lot of energy. That's right. We came to see you, but now
I have a passion, Mike.
Okay, I
it's
like
beyond reproach, Mike.
We're at Hoops Winery. There's a connection to. There's a lot of connections. You have a lot of connections to a lot of things. We've already touched on it a little bit. Karin and Jeff and I were having a discussion about Kamala Harris.
Yeah.
Bill Gates. Chef Thomas Keller.
So well connected.
Tell us about Hoops Winery and the connection to Kamala Harris.
Lindsay Hoops was born and raised here in Napa Valley in Oakville off of Yountville Road at our estate property at Hoops Vineyard. They have a 12-acre parcel and about 11 acres under vines over there. And so she spent her life's work getting this brand into multiple continents and multiple countries and every state except for Utah. You know, we're doing very well. And she works tirelessly at this.
Utah's a hard one. Utah's a hard one.
You got it. Yeah. Grape growers for about 20 years, and then we have developed this wonderful brand, this wine. People love the grapes, so they had their own vintage start out in 1999. We're still here, so very successful brand.
Why are there chickens?
We got chickens. We got an animal sanctuary over here. We got some rescue. We're big animal lovers over here. We got Dante the dog on the cover of our labels here, and then that guy passed away, so now we got Sophie and Maya, the Australian shepherds. They got their blocks
we
of
have
grapes
sheep,
in our wine as well.
Chickens. There's a turkey.
You got
There's
donkey.
a horse.
You got it.
The horse came from the San Francisco police.
Yeah. Officer Sheldon's been here. You got it.
That's awesome.
Been about three months now. He's well liked around. He's a popular attraction over here.
Let's run through the connections now you told us about so far.
Mm-hmm.
Your connection to Bill Gates.
Yeah, my cousin's teaching him how to play tennis.
I love that.
Shoot, I got it. My other cousin, he married, the same cousin married a pro soccer guy from Seattle Sounders.
What number?
Oh, number 3, Brad Evans.
Brad Evans.
Things are going well.
With a six-pack.
There's Lindsay Hoops now. Hi, Linz.
Abs.
You got it. And then my boss, Vineyard, owner-proprietor of this brand, she's the assistant district attorney to a lady by the name of Kamala Harris for the last 7 years in San Francisco. Then that lady had to go get a better job somewhere. So she still works tirelessly.
You think it is a better job?
Oh, I don't know. This is such a passion of hers right here. She's very good. Yeah.
Which one are we missing?
She never loses.
What's the other connect? Oh, Thomas Keller.
Keller, yeah, my fiance. I got engaged in January, and that's TK's executive assistant.
What's your fiance's name?
Oh, her name is Angel.
Angel.
Yeah, she's an angel, right? Yeah,
That's
you got
impressive, man.
it. Yeah, no last names though.
No.
Oh, she's a prize.
People should come see you, Brian.
Have a good time, man. We're here to have a drink, maybe eat, and have a great time.
You need a sign out on the main road, and people need to come here.
That's right.
To Hoops.
We're advertising. We got families, kids. This is the de facto place to go. We are kid-friendly, family-friendly in Napa County for sure. We have great wine. We happen to have some animals as well.
The wine
I tell
is
people,
delicious.
people, the wine's been here. The animals just got here a couple years ago, right? Yeah. So it's a good time.
Hoopes.
You got it.
Napa Valley.
We are the Oasis at Hoops Vineyard in Napa County, just about a mile south of Yountville.
Brian,
Come
thanks for
see
hanging
me.
out, man. Thanks for pouring for us.
Appreciate you coming by.
You got a lot of energy.
A lot of energy, a lot of passion going on around here, right?
Love it.
Thanks for having me on the show.
My pleasure.
All right, Mike.
Oh, what a day it has been. We have been a few miles down the road since our last stop. We had a lovely time at Hoops. And then we stopped at the Oakville grocery store. We had ordered sandwiches. Oakville Grocery is somewhat of an iconic grocery store / sandwich deli / pizza place / upscale wine shop. And it's right on Highway 29, and you can order sandwiches on the fly and pick them up. Karin ran in and picked them up. It was like 30 seconds. Amazing. We ate our sandwiches for a little while, and then we continued north, and then we headed west. If you head west from the town of St. Helena, you start going up the hill, otherwise known as Spring Mountain. And if you have been paying attention to the podcast for a long time, you might remember when a guy that owns a winery on Spring Mountain visited me. I think it was episode 3. That guy, Michael Keenan. We're at Keenan, up on top of Spring Mountain. Michael was not here to greet us. Laura, the tasting room manager, was. And we've been tasting through numerous wines. We started with a Chardonnay, and then we've had multiple reds. We're drinking a wine right now called Side by Side, which is 50% Merlot, 50% Cabernet Franc. Laura pulled out a special bottle for us. It's from the 2012 vintage. How do you like it, Karin?
Mike, I like it a lot.
Okay.
And also, I've been tasting wine all day. Didn't we start at like 10?
We started at
Well, you picked us up at
10:45.
10.
10:45 was our first
Yeah.
tasting.
Yeah, so I don't know what I'm tasting any longer, but I'm still enjoying it. Let's put it that way.
Do you have palate fatigue?
I believe that would be accurate.
All right. What are you doing over there on your phone?
Me?
Yeah.
Oh, so Laura told me that if I'm on the Keenan Winery website, which is keenanwinery.com, there is a secret emblem you can click on to get to the secret wines, and these are some unique wines that you can buy only if you go to this part of the website.
Secret wines.
Secret wines.
You have to whisper when you say it.
Yeah, but we can all go there if you can find it.
You have to find the button. It's a special little button on their website. How do you like the wines, Jeff?
I like them. I like the Napa Cabernet very much.
Okay.
I, too, will confess to feeling a little gustatory fatigue.
Gustatory.
But
Let me write that down. Gustatory.
yes, I will say that that actually has, I think, been my favorite Cabernet we've had today.
The Napa Cab?
Yes.
Not the Reserve Cab?
The Reserve Cab was good. I think that might have been a little much for me. That I think the line, that's right around where the line was for me.
Oh, you like as we got there.
I'm
it
running
was
out
like-
of steam right
Okay.
around there. So I'm enjoying this side by side as well, but yeah, I like the cab best.
All right. So let's do a recap here. We started at Silenus with Hiro, tasted multiple wines, delicious, amazing hospitality, and then we went to Hoops. Again, amazing wines, and sheep and goats, and a horse and a pig. Wonderful stuff. That was Brian, right?
Yes,
At Hoops? Okay.
Brian.
It's good to review.
Loquacious Brian.
The man of Not few words. Many words. Great guy, though. He's super fun to talk to. And then we're up here at Keenan. It's been a great day of tasting. Now we're going to go over Spring Mountain at some point and get back down to Sonoma, where I drop Jeff and Karin off at their hotel. Then I go home and cook dinner and resume my regular life. Step back into the unglamorous world outside of podcasting. I want to ask each of you today if we learned anything. Sometimes at the end of the day, you say, did I learn anything today? Because my grandma used to say to me, you learn something new every day. And we've all heard that phrase, right? You learn something new every day. But my grandma had a totally macabre twist on it. She would add, after saying, you learn something new every day, she would say, the day you don't is the day you die. This is a grandma talking to little kids.
Well, that's a lot of pressure now.
It is a lot of pressure, right?
I would say, I asked today several wine experts what structure meant. So I got a couple different definitions. Probably if I mash them all together, I have a pretty good sense of what that means and how I can learn to experience it for myself.
Oh, I love that. Jeff learned about structure today. What about you, Karin?
Can I ask Jeff to define structure for us?
No, I just learned what it was. You can't ask me.
All right, he's not yet fluent.
This
in
is knowledge he
structure.
has on the inside.
No,
he's
fair enough.
He's still taking it in,
Fair enough.
and it's going to be a while before he can put it in his own words, I think.
Okay, so what I learned today, I learned how to find the secret wine on the Keenan website. And
This is important. This is important knowledge.
Important knowledge, and also, obviously, it's fantastic to spend a day with Mike Stone taking you to drink wine. If anyone has an opportunity to do that, take him up on it. And I think I would also say that I like wine. I drink a lot of wine. I collect wine. I don't really know how to describe what I taste or smell, but Mike is a really great encourager of just practicing and seeing what you see, and it's all real to you.
That's what it's all about. Practice.
It is.
So when somebody says to you, "You drinking wine again?" I'm practicing, right? Simple as that. All right, at some point we're going to end the episode and end the tasting day. But Laura tells us we still have a couple more wines to taste. I'm going to roll the credits in a moment. Thank you for listening. And just like that, I am back in the studio. But what a truly lovely day. Thanks for tagging along. And I'm using the feeling I got from editing this episode to remind myself and to remind you that just because you enjoy doing something and have access to doing it, be sure to actually do it. I hadn't been out tasting in a few months and can basically do it whenever I want, and I'm in the biz, so it's always a red carpet experience. Yet I make excuses for not getting out there. Oh, it takes up my whole day when it's my day off, blah, 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 wah, wah, wah. Well, screw all of that. Be sure to do whatever it is that feeds your soul when you have the opportunity. This is more me telling me, but if you need to hear it, then it's for you too. We made our return trip back to Sonoma, Karin, Jeff, and I, by driving over Spring Mountain and coming down into Sonoma County, and the devastation still on display from the 2020 glass fire up there is jaw-dropping. If you'd like to hear about how it affected my friends at Keenan, scroll back to episode 4 from February of 2021 from my interview with Michael Keenan, president of the winery. It's compelling stuff. If you'd like to hear more about my friend Hiro Sogi from Silenus Winery, he was my guest on episode 5 in March of 2021. And it's a good chat. What are the odds? Those guys were back-to-back guests, and 2 years later I'd visit both of their wineries on the same day. Okay, that's a rhetorical question. No need for you to calculate the actual odds. Unless you're really into statistics and you've already started crunching the numbers, then go ahead and email them to me. Speaking of email, it's tallmikewine@gmail.com. If you have questions, comments, suggestions for guests, and most important of all, to get your very own set of the official Tall Mike Wine podcast coasters, check in with me. I'd love to hear from you wherever you are. Send me your address. I'll pop a stack of coasters in the mail. To see a few behind-the-scenes pictures from this episode and all the episodes, plus pictures of the wines I'm drinking, food I'm eating, and all the random everything else's from my life, follow me on Instagram @TallMikeWine. If you take pictures of the wines you drink, use my hashtag #SexyBottleShot, and I will see it. Have you rated the podcast? Followed or subscribed so you don't miss a new episode? Written a review on Apple Podcasts? They tell me it helps a lot, so thank you. The Tall Mike Wine Podcast was conceived and is written, produced, edited, and maintained by yours truly. This episode was recorded using Shure microphones and edited and mixed on a program called Audacity. I can't tell you how much I appreciate you listening. Keep up the good work. I'll have another episode for you soon. Until then, this is episode 41. Thanks again to the Reeds. I'm Tall Mike Wine. Keep swirling. Keep sniffing. Keep sipping. Cheers.